everyone, and welcome to the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Beverly. Today we have a very special guest, Jaclyn Zoccoli, that I have known for, I don't know, at least 30 years. Jackie illustrates the power of alliance teams from deepest Africa to sunny Arizona. She shares her gift of the excitement of awareness. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you, Beverly. It's so good to be able to play with you in this environment versus where we were 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it was.
So, tell us about your personal journey, how you got started, and why this is your passion.
Well, the interesting thing is when I really went back and started thinking about all of this and my passion to purpose, which is really kind of what I'm talking about, and put it in a spiritual light, which is what I've been doing lately. I haven't really pursued the spiritual as much as I am now. It's finally coming out. I began to realize that it actually started at age 6. At age 6, I usually start out with, your father died.
Hmm.
Well, at age 6, that kind of shakes you up, except you don't really know your father that well. I didn't at age 6. He was a dentist. He was a pioneer in dental photography, so he wasn't home an awful lot. However, at that point, I had a conversation with God, and I can remember it very clearly. God said, this is the worst thing that's going to happen to you. I will be with you always.
Wow.
So going on as a kid, I thought, okay, well, we can handle this. This is going to work really well. So that was the first part of it. Then fast forward, and I mean literally fast forward till I was in college and I went into the Peace Corps. Well, the Peace Corps was enough to actually do a lot into my brain, most of which was to not only experience, but to cherish the diversity of cultures. Because I grew up, especially, I have to throw this in because it really is kind of interesting and curious, because I grew up in all white San Leandro, California.
Oh.
And my mother was smart enough to put me into things where Oakland had a Girl Scout camp, which was all black, and a variety of other places, though she never dreamt I would go to deepest, darkest Africa. That was kind of the farthest on her thought pattern. And I'm sure her friends questioned it at the time. However, her cultural immersion for me was one of the spiritual beginnings for me to
Mm-hmm.
absolutely enjoy other cultures and to realize how much we are more alike than we are different.
Mm-hmm.
So then fast forward to actually it was probably about 2015, and I met a woman by the name of Karine Mooney. Karine is what they call an indigo. Is she's kind of been here before and she came back, and we were having dinner at one point because we had created a holistic group. So after the Peace Corps and me realizing the diversity in cultures and celebrating the diversity instead of anything else with them, fast forward to about 2015 probably, and I met up with a woman who was an indigo. In other words, she had come into this world for the second time. And she looked at me and she said, you don't know, do you? And I said, what don't I know? She says, you are here to change humanity. I said, what? Yeah. I went, oh, whoa. At that point on the way home, I cried all the way home and I thought, good God. And that was like, I don't know, 50 years, 20, I was about 70. I mean, no, it was not 70, 60. I don't know. Anyhow, fast forward from the 20, 57. Anyhow, um, at that point, I thought, I have to create my mantra. I mean, that makes sense. That will get me there, and I will go into that later. However, I realized that I had more time behind me than I did in front of me. So I needed to figure it out. Though I wasn't really on a quest, it just happened when it happened, as we all know things do
Mm-hmm.
for a good reason. And so the next thing was in 2016, I ran into a woman by the name of Dr. Paula Fellingham, and she was to create a conference for the World Parliament on Spirituality. In the past, the conference was based on problems. She says, no, we're going to go to solution. I said, sign me up. I want to do the solution. So what happened was that at that conference, we had about 40 countries, all based on the concept of increasing love, prosperity, and peace. And I thought, oh, this is so perfect. And then I contacted Pakistan as one of the countries, and I said, what do you need? And they said, well, we only need food, we need water, we need, and all these basic 8 things. I got off the phone and I realized, this is not uncommon. This is developing countries all over the world. This is not new. Though, God, what do I do with this? I know people in every single area. How am I supposed to make this happen? So God said quite clearly, as he had at age 6, start with education and start locally. I said, okay, I can do that. So what popped into my world at that point was Footsteps, the number 2, Brilliance.com. Footsteps to Brilliance is a gamified literacy app that takes the child from preschool to 3rd grade in 90 days.
90.
And through the 8 learning modalities, over 7,000 video applied ways to learn in a fun way. We don't tell the children they are learning. They have fun with the videos. They've had all kinds of things from the UN, all different types of things. I won't go into all of it. However, that was a great start. So then from 3rd grade on, from 6th grade on, there came into my life Journey's Map. Journey's Map takes the child on a guided tour to thousands of occupations, the day in the life of what the salary is, what they would need, what certificates they would need, what college they would need, and tells them where they can go. It's not just like when you and I were around, Beverly. You're either a teacher or a secretary or you produce children. You
Or you're
don't
a
do
nurse.
anything else. So, nurse, that was it. That was the other one, nurse. So at any rate, so I thought, okay, this is good. Education is coming along. And then the International Youth Parliament was the group that was created from the World Parliament on Spirituality, and from which I had spoken to Pakistan. And now at that point, I am mentoring in 10 countries. And those people that are in that are developing their communities. They're getting mostly the girls and the women to be able to be educated enough to be able to have their own businesses. So I began to create more on my toolbox. And the toolbox was not only those 2 educational things, but also microcredit, also a variety of other things that would be able to help them to develop their community.
Wow.
Well, lo and behold, just this last year, I ran into a woman by the name of Yvonne Gamble, and Yvonne was part of a group called Life Savers Ambassadors International. And it's women who have projects all over the world to help women and girls. And I said, Yvonne, I'd love to be able to get Footsteps to Brilliance into at least the 10 countries where I am mentoring, but the problem is they don't have any computers. To which she said, watch. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? So what we are creating, and through a virtual event, I met a fellow who introduced me to a developer, and we're creating tablets that will be stuffed with Footsteps to Brilliance and
Wow.
will go around 30,000 tablets
Wow.
to 150,000 children all over the world.
Wow.
And
That's
I am
awesome.
in the process. I am the program manager for the whole thing. We are getting our business plan together, our standard operating procedures. We're getting all of that fine tuned. And this Yvonne has the deep pockets investors in the humanitarian world. All they want is a legacy. Well, to me, that's the biggest legacy I can imagine in
Yeah.
my life is to have that many children who are going to be interfacing with their own parents, going to interface with the community. They're going to grow up to be educated to the degree that instead of waiting 5 years to go to school, in some of these countries. They haven't gone to school in 5 years because of the war. These children will be able to be educated. And in Ghana, their problem is that the teachers get a certificate that they have bribed for. They teach for 2 months. They get bored because they don't know what they're doing, and they leave and take the children. So you see, there are problems all over the world. However, Footsteps will be able to change that
Yeah.
because they train the teachers, they give them the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
It's only in English and Spanish. However, they can edit some of the video part of the training for those teachers. And at least in Ghana, their situation will change. Same in Cameroon. So the countries I'm working with are Cameroon, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Democratic Republic of Congo, Philippines, Pakistan, India, and then we'll be in the United States working with the Native American population.
Well,
So
there's quite
this
a
is,
few of those that don't speak English or Spanish.
that's
So,
right. That's the point, though, is to get them up to the rest of the world.
mm,
They have already gone to Pakistan. When they were in Pakistan, they got children off the streets and they said, here, turn it on this way. And in 90 days, they could speak, write, and understood, of course, English.
wow.
Very strong. And they give it complete support all along the way. So I don't have to go to each of these countries and do all of that
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to do that. So spiritually, I feel as though I have made a huge shift through my life. I have been groomed. I have been totally groomed to collect all of the people that I have for my toolbox and for all the things that I'm doing. And it's going to explode because wait till the word gets out after 30, 60 days.
Yeah.
It will it will have to have a whole nother, because we're only in the 10 countries. They're only what 109, 100 and 200 and something countries,
Yeah.
195. And it will not take any marketing. The only marketing we're going to have to do is to get people to do their next one. And the next one actually is a next project. And that project will take the children from the 6th grade through an education to be able to be their own business or to be an entrepreneur or to be hired. So I have consultants that are in this group, and I know so many that are delighted. One of the other places is Planet Startup, and they come in and they train the people on the ground on how to do a startup business.
Mm,
And so then the consultants will come in and do the coaching on various levels.
nice.
So I'm very excited about what has got me into my spiritual.
I can see why. That's really awesome and so needed.
Oh yeah.
That's really incredible. Um, so I guess this is kind of a strange question, but what do you see as the primary struggle? You kind of hinted at it. Some of the children are living in a war zone, and the teachers are not credentialed. But when these kids are not getting any kind of education, how is that affecting them?
Oh, you can only imagine all the things that they get into:
Yeah.
childbirth, crime, whoever a friends them, such as not so wonderful things. I mean, it's the same in every country. It's just more dramatic in those countries. But the young people that I'm working with in the 10 plus countries have such a desire to be able to change the mentality, the mindset of these children, to educate them. They don't know anything else. They're just trying to survive. So between that and I want to get them in all the other countries that I'm in too, is to be able to give them the tools. And they have the passion. That's something I can't give them. They definitely have the passion.
Yeah. Well, that's, I guess that leads into my next question is what's your best secret for helping them, for getting them to actually use the tablets?
Well, that won't take much because it'll be a toy.
Ah, okay.
You see what I mean? When you
Yeah.
have something that's that exciting and fun to play with, that will not be a problem at all. Really, that won't be a problem. And the teachers will have it there. There will be, we've estimated probably 5 students per tablet, though we would have liked it for one for every, though realistically, the teachers will have it in the classroom in
Okay.
most cases, and the kids will either take turns or they'll have a projector or whatever to be able to use it if they can have each of it. The only problem is when we first started, we thought, okay, this will be great, every child to have one. And then we forgot to realize that when you live in an underdeveloped country, you can't just take it home and skip it along the ground and drop it in the water as you go and maybe have someone steal it. You have to have security. So it will probably not, it will not be in the homes in this case, because we can't just, these are not
Yeah.
sandwiches that you have, this is not an expendable.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, there will be security. They will be brought back to, they will be in the school the whole time.
Well, you talked a little bit about how this has impacted you personally. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more how this is, because this has to really touch your heart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The thought that I'm able to accomplish this in my lifetime has taken over my life. It really has taken over my life. And I do everything I can each moment to be able to enable this to happen. It hasn't been approved yet. I have to admit that. However, and it is extremely expensive. However, with the breadth of it, I just don't see it possible. It won't be. I don't even offer that. I still have a business, and the business until this catches, because I will be paid for this when it does work.
Mm.
But my business is also what I'm here to talk to you about,
Okay.
because the first woman, and I had created a holistic network ourselves of
Mm-hmm.
spiritual businesses. And their biggest challenge, and that we frankly never accomplished until now, is that people in the holistic and wellness business have no clue how to promote themselves.
It's
This is
true.
a real general statement, but I'm probably closer on realistically than in most other areas I'd make that big a sweep. They're just there to serve us. Just let me do the stuff.
Yeah.
Let me do the stuff. And I pray that the right people come my way. It's God's will, which is delightful. So the point is that with my LinkedIn illumination, I sit them down and I say, let me find out where you're going. Let's find out what you really want the world to know. What
Mm.
are you offering? What is your passion?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that gets you up in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that's what you want the world to know, who are those people? Who are the ones that really need that? And once we've come up with that conclusion, then I find out who the best alliances are. Who are the people that see your same target audience? Because they'll make you word of mouth. And
Oh,
that's who we
that's
look at. And
wonderful.
we find them in LinkedIn. So I'm doing everything I can to help people in the spiritual realm. I also have a group called the Divine Disruptors, and there are 7 of us at various spiritual angles of life that are doing amazing things. So we will be a cluster of bright, brilliant lights to be able to help those around us, assist others around us, help and assist to bring them into brilliance this year.
Nice. So you mentioned earlier you're working on your spiritual awareness, and it kind of has been evolving lately. Talk some more about that.
Well, as I'm beginning to really see my path, I've always felt very close to God. I have felt that we're one. I can always feel comfortable. Maybe it's because of when I was young. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as I have progressed the 50 years from the Peace Corps and begin to really see the power of what I do, that is what is really needed. And I have, through my life, let's see, you don't know her. No. Through my life, I've had a woman that I've been very close to, Patricia Munson. she has a women in discovery group, and that group every weekend, or not every, but many weekends with thousands of women, would go through a variety of spiritual awakenings, comments, and quotes. I collected quotes as a kid ever since I can remember, and those quotes have been what have guided me. So as we have gotten older, she's only a year younger than I am. I said, Patricia, I'm taking what you've given me, and there must be 25 or 30 of them, and I'm going to not only live them, which she and I tested completely all our lives, I am bringing those as far as I can into my environment. And she's been totally flattered. She just don't do it in the Bay Area, will you? I said, okay, I'm not going to do it in the Bay Area.
Her name does ring a bell, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure
you
why.
may have known her. She's been
Yeah.
very special since the 90s.
Hmm.
So you may have heard me talk of her before. She never was in ABWA or anything. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. So
You also mentioned earlier about something about a mantra. You want to talk some more about that?
my age justifies my wisdom. My developed clarity teaches the excitement of awareness and ignites the spark of action and change. And that's exactly what I'm all about, is to have people become aware to the
So,
degree that they get excited and are able to change.
so say it again.
She asked me, so she has to have water. My age justifies my wisdom.
Age justifies my wisdom. Okay.
My developed clarity teaches the excitement of awareness and ignites the spark of action and change.
Good.
And that's what I developed after I was told I needed to change humanity. And it wasn't like I went out to do it, it just evolved. And I knew once I looked at my path and I looked back and I thought, now I understand God. It's very clear.
I think a lot of us, I'm going to call us senior citizen,
The
who are
mature,
on this, us
the
mature,
seasoned one of us, yeah.
seasoned adults, that we're here because we incarnated when we did because we grew up in a different environment so that we would have the maturity to bring a lot of teachings to people today. Because what they were taught in school, although some people being born today are just absolutely spiritually way ahead of us, I learned from them as much as I've learned in my life. But there's a lot of other people just waking up, and I think that's why we're here. And I meet so many people that it's exactly why they're here. And teaching and educating people is so important. So your work, I think, is really important. And I know when I first connected with you after a while, you're like a whirlwind of information of who to contact. It's just amazing. So if anybody needs your services, you're really, really good at it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much.
So tell us a little more about how you help holistic and alternative health people expanding their business.
Yeah, well, as I say, with my Clarity from Chaos session, which is the complimentary gift I will be giving whomever, sitting down and figuring out what your passion is. It could be also an author. Those are the people that could eventually get what they love on paper, whereas the holistic and spiritual are, they're mostly, it's their aura, it's their presence, it's their energy that's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult at times to let the world know about that unless, of course, they see them and they can feel that energy. That's great. Though in LinkedIn, you've got a blind spot there. You can't just glow right off the screen unless you find a way to do it. So that's what I like to do, is to bring their essence out, and then to show them the people that would cater to that essence, that would help them and possibly be another holistic or wellness or spiritual or any of those that they could go together in doing that. So that's what I really like to do, is to bring it to life, to a place where people can see you without you being there, and
Mm.
then to find the right people on your path.
Wow. Very nice. So you mentioned oh, wait. Sorry. I'm getting my questions for you out of order. How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah. Well, it's my name. I usually have, well, you can see right there on my name, if you can see on the screen, that's my email.
Oh, okay. So you want
Jackie,
people to just email you
you can
directly?
email me, or you can go to my website, which is Jaclyn Zoccoli, as you see there, .com. So I've used my formal name for my website, and then my Jackie for my email. So if they go to the website, they'll be able to see the ways, my global reach, as well as my coaching. And then right now I am offering, besides the LinkedIn Illumination, which is the process I told you about, what happens after we touch bases in 30 days, they didn't get around to getting the alliances. Oh, no. So the next step is called LinkedIn Pursuit Mastermind Group. So even if they haven't had the LinkedIn Illumination, I help them to locate one or two and how to speak to them, what you do together, what's in your toolbox. And we do that in a coaching session, and that starts next Tuesday, the 8th, which I have a feeling this won't air until later than that. So it's the second Tuesday of the month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
make it
And
better.
then you were mentioning your VIP gift, Clarity from Chaos complimentary Zoom session. So,
Right. Yeah,
and how long does that last for?
it's an hour.
It's an hour. Oh,
Yeah,
that's very generous.
yeah.
And then the link, since we're on both YouTube and we have a audio only podcast on um, okay, I don't remember where it is. Simplecast. I'm so terrible. I'm really good at this. Can you tell?
Yeah, yeah.
It's on Simplecast. So if you're on YouTube, the link will be down below. But if you're on Simplecast, I'll tell you the link. You type in yououtu.be capital G lowercase r z u p h capital U lowercase k 82 lowercase c. So I'll say that again. youtu.be capital G lowercase r z u p h capital U k lowercase k 82 lowercase c. And that will be Jackie's gift of 1 hour, which is pretty incredible.
Gonna
So,
gonna astound you as well. I have a YouTube channel too, and
oh,
all they
okay.
have to do is to go to my channel and look at VIP. There's only one VIP in there.
Okay.
And that will tell them, it won't tell them how to get on my calendar. But if they go to my website, jclynzoccoli.com, that's how to get on my calendar. It'll show you there. So the gift is a VIP under my YouTube, instead of going through all of that. And so I think it's Jackie Zoccoli. I don't think it's Jaclyn.
Okay.
Um,
Do you have
so
any closing words for us?
there are two quotes that I love. Coincidence is God choosing to remain anonymous. And that's typically very appropriate for this group.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is by Gary Spence. I prefer to be open to wonder rather than closed by belief.
Ah, very good. Yes, wonderful. Well, Jackie, it's great connecting with you and speaking with you, and I think you're doing really wonderful work for humanity.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much.
being here.
Thank you. Yeah,
And we
it's
thank
great.
all of you for listening. Remember, be the light you want to see in the world.